We're live.
Hind Deer Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Hind Deer Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Yalla habibi, mashallah habibti, yalla.
All right. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Hind Deer Podcast. Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak. Today is the first day of Ramadan, and we are really happy with our fasting, and our energy is zero.
Ramadan Mubarak. Here we go. Let's get some Ramadan music going on here. Mood.
Today's topic is about jealous people or jealousy in general. It's when you find happiness finally, whether it's a new project or new business, you got money, or whether it's a new partner, you got happiness, you're feeling loved, you finally found that love of your life, and all of a sudden these people start appearing in your life, whether they are family members or friends or like fake friends, let's say, or family members. Some people will appear in your life and gossip about you and try to ruin that happiness for you. In the beginning, I was not understanding what's going on when my family members, of course not immediate family members, I'm so glad I have my mom and siblings. But some family members started acting crazy and started just spreading rumors and really like talking shit about us. Why? What have we done to them? Then when we looked into it, it looks like there is something like that. There is something.
Okay.
Some people get just angry over some other people's happiness, and we don't know why. That's why we researched it, and we found out finally what type of people these are. And these are challenges that you won't face if you stayed the same. If you improve a little bit, you're gonna face those challenges. These people will appear in your life. Some of them will do background dirty work on you, talk shit about you behind your back, never confront you because they're so scared of you because you're stronger than them. And some of them will smear you, some of them will like turn people against you, and some of them will confront you. So finally you gotta stand up for yourself when someone confronts you. If someone doesn't confront you, for me right now, the best solution is to be silent and to just not care and cut them off of my life. Whoever is acting like a flying monkey with them and adhering to what they have to say about me without me saying without me saying this thing about me. So basically spreading rumors and lies. Nice to meet you. I can also like cut you off if you choose to be like a stupid flying monkey. And for those who actually spread the rumors, just ignore them, cut them off. For those who confront you, you gotta confront them back. You gotta respond to them the same way they come at you and talk shit about you in your face.
You know, the first.
What do you have to say about these people, babe?
The first time I really experienced this, it was when I started my first business. I was working at another company, and I started a kind of a unique business, and a lot of my peers around me, some of them started acting real resentful, real spiteful towards me, and I wasn't quite sure why, but I noticed that in that business, in that company, people that made more money were usually very positive and supportive of it, but the people that were making a similar amount as me, those were the ones who were real resentful for it. And I've noticed this pattern through things as you develop yourself in life and you try to grow. You get some people that just hate to see people practicing self-love. They're very triggered by it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. These people will never have the audacity to do something new in their lives. And as soon as someone else who's at their level does something with their lives and improve a little bit or has some self-confidence that they don't have, they want to drag them down. All of a sudden, these people want to drag you down for no reason, just for the reason that you're better than them, just for the reason that you tried and they didn't. That's all.
There's a lot. People talk a lot now too about different ways to categorize people. A lot of people may see someone that they don't like, and who's confident and happy, and they call them a narcissist. And it's very popular right now to call people a narcissist. And sometimes people are narcissists, or they have narcissistic traits. But there's also even the trend for kids in the U.S. now to start calling their parents narcissists. It's a thing. But it seems to me like the people that call others narcissistic tend to be the ones that demonstrate the narcissistic traits, either vulnerable narcissists or megalomaniac people or whatever. They want to disparage someone to prevent other people from liking that person, to try to keep some attention towards them. But what do you think?
A lot of it is narcissistic traits. I think narcissism is a big umbrella that a lot of things fall underneath it. So I'm not here to, let's say, diagnose people with personality disorders. I'm here to just point out the behavior that normal people or mentally stable people should be aware of. We as humans, we want happiness in life. That's our ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal of every one of us. So trying to find happiness, trying to find answers to your questions, you're in a depressed mode, kind of trying to find these answers. And as soon as you come, when you're in that depressed mode, you start looking for answers. You watch every single video about how to find happiness, how to find your partner, or how to find a way to make a business if that's what you want. Whatever you want, you try really hard to decode what you're trying to do and find the answers to your questions. But then when you're in that state, no one cares about you. No one wants to ruin things for you because things are already ruined. When you come out of it, though, when you come out of your depression and you start thriving and you start being a better version of yourself, you all of a sudden find a whole set of new challenges in your way that you never expected when you are in your depressive state. So these sets of challenges, I call it jealousy or envious people. Sometimes you never triggered them. You never triggered their jealousy. They're just want to hate on you. They just want to ruin your life for you. You got to be aware. Got to be aware of them. You got to be ready, though. You got to be ready that someday you'll face these new challenges once you find the happiness that you're looking for.
I do notice too that the healthier someone is, the more they have a positive outlook and they look like they're going places in life. Those kind of people attract very toxic people who want that happiness, who want something out of them, or they just want that person to make them appear better. Because a lot of times the people that are the negative ones are driven by insecurity. Someone asked, is there a difference in dealing and acting if jealousy comes from family members, friends, colleagues, or social relations? I would think so. When it comes to your family, it's much more complicated. And of course,
if it's coming from your friend, why have these friends in your life? You have millions and billions of people to choose from, to be friends with, and you still choose the toxic ones. No thanks. You got to cut them out of your life. You got to learn how to be strong and be tough and cut people out of your life if they don't serve you. A friendship should be like a growing relationship. Both of you should be growing. If you have a kind of friend that want to stay the same, but you are growing and they hate to see you growing, I'm sorry, but this friend, their role is done in your life. You got to find a new friend. That's for friends. You got to be tough. Now, for family, you can't get rid of them. What do you have to say, babe, about family or friends?
Well, first of all, it reminds me of this question here. What are the actions, behaviors, and observations that prove to you that the other side is jealous of you? So one thing I learned when I was getting ready for this podcast was that one significant way you can tell a toxic person from a healthy person is when a person goes into a relationship with what could be considered a high-quality person. Both people inspire each other and grow. And I think about how when I met Hind and how much our creative energy made us give us ideas, and now we're making more reels and doing projects together. And I think, wow, that's a great example of when you're not with a toxic person. So I think that one way to look at it is if you're with a toxic person, a mean person, sometimes it can be real obvious if they maybe say disparaging things to you. Maybe it's not even like to imply maybe like, who do you think you are? Or, oh, you think you're so great. Or it could be, I can't think of a specific example, but they don't really get excited and happy for you when you have an achievement. The beginning of your relationship with your friend may be good, but with time, jealous person turns into a jealous person when you get happiness.
Cut them off.
Yeah. One of my tricks for life is that when I find people that are they don't benefit me positively, they're negative. If they gossip about me, if somebody gossips about me, I usually cut them out of my life entirely. So even if I no longer even see them in my periphery, if I'm in the same room with them, I completely cut them out of my life, out of my whole psyche, because they do nothing for you. And you got to keep in mind too, if the person is really jealous and really negative and is going to stay at that level, they're never going to grow and they're never going to be happy for you. So if they hate you now, they're going to hate you no matter what you do. And if you feel like they're hating you because you're feeling more happy or you're feeling more positive or you've breaking a bad habit, reversing that is not really going to make them like you more either. They're showing their true colors. So if a person doesn't like you, if a person hates you, even if they're nice to you, but they hate you, you can completely disregard them and remind yourself, this person, I can't make this person like me, so why even try? Save your energy for the people who you can affect, people who you can interact with, that you reciprocate something back and forth, something positive.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And believe me, sometimes you need to be lonely. You need to let go of people so new people emerge in your life. Like me and Brandon have a entrepreneur friend who really pushes you to do your best. Like, these people exist, She was here last night. We were practicing together to do motivational speak to each other, and we were encouraging each other, okay, I let go of a toxic friend, but a new friend emerged in my life, and that's a better friend. That's a friend who did good for herself, and she wants others to do good for themselves. Never be afraid of being alone for some time.
Do you think it's good to train yourself to be happy for people? Because it's really easy to look at someone that has something and maybe you feel an inadequacy, so you resent them. But it's the idea, like, if you pray for your enemies. If you pray for your enemies, you stop being so hateful towards them.
Yeah, I was watching a doctor of psychology the other day, and she was like, if people get jealous of you, both of you are in the same program. Both of you are programmed the same. The jealous person and the person who the jealous person envies.
Okay.
Because when you are in a lower position, you will be the jealous person. But now that you are higher than the person who's jealous of you, you're in a position that this person is jealous of you, but you triggered their jealousy. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in the same program, you're doing things to trigger that jealousy inside of them. So you got to leave that programming and clean it out. And so people allow you to be better. It was interesting to hear.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to divorce friends. Sometimes you have to divorce people. I've had to divorce friends. And sometimes I've had friendships where I was a really great friend, very close friend with people, but they just became unhealthy for me, or they became, it can be just a bad influence. Friends that are bad influences that get you to do things that ultimately harm yourself. Could be smoking a cigarette. Maybe you don't want to have friends that smoke cigarettes because they may encourage you to smoke. Or I would not be friends with someone if they smoke cigarettes, but I don't smoke cigarettes.
You wouldn't smoke with them. I mean, I have friends that drink. I don't drink, but they're still friends of mine. I think you should look for your best interest. That's all. You look for your best interest. If it's friends, you can get rid of them. I'm sorry, but I'm not keeping a friend who will not have my best interest as much as I have their best interest. When it comes to family members, though, it's kind of hard when people shun you, when there are conspiracies that are being done against you in the background, and you don't really know who it is that's gossiping about you. And you know that they're just gossiping because they don't want you to be better, because they saw something that triggered their jealousy. I don't know if I'm in that same program, to be honest. Like that doctor of psychology said, you both are in the same program. You triggered their jealousy. That's why they're jealous of you.
Okay.
Could it be that we're in the same program and I'm trying to make them jealous?
What do you mean program?
Like mental program.
Okay. Mental place, like place in your life, place in general?
No, programming. Like you were
Okay.
programmed that way since childhood.
Okay.
You were programmed to feel jealous towards people because you were put in a situation that's unfair. For
Yeah.
me, I was a second-class citizen my whole life. And I still feel resentment because of that. I still feel like I should be a first-class citizen.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what Hassan is asking right now. It looks like, what about when you are the jealous person? Are you a toxic person, or what's wrong with you? We all have jealousy. We all deal with envy. But I think too, if you can train yourself to start being happy for people, you will start feeling better about yourself. If you start feeling happy for people and you start feeling more positive about yourself, then you're going to find people who won't be happy for you, who will give you that sort of negative reaction, and as part of going through life. But at least if that happens, you've reached a phase where you've accomplished a different stage in life.
Mm-hmm. Also, what that doctor said, a really good mental workout is to think, what is the one thing or the two things that if I get, I will allow everyone to have whatever they want? What is it? Think about it. And some people would say money. Some people would say beauty. Some people will say the ability to seduce. Some people will say children. So if I have children or money or whatever it is that you want, or you really, really badly want in life, if you have it, you will start allowing others to have whatever they want.
Yes.
What is it?
So even that feeling, that's because of people, once they have purpose, their lives, they feel more full. So they're easier or they're happier with themselves. And if they can love themselves, they can easily love other people. Do you know what the thing would be for you?
For me,
Yeah.
I want to be a first-class citizen.
Okay. I want a good life. That's what I want.
I want to be a first class citizen and my children to be first class citizens. Also, I want money and children.
Okay. So for me, I want all those things. It just falls into the category of good life. So
Yeah.
I think I have a good life. I'm not worried about.
Mubashir. I'm just responding to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about living in a mansion or having a yacht. I'm kind of simple. I'm more or less interested in having good people around me and being healthy, being safe, and being stable, and just having a high quality of life. That's what's important for me. You realize, like, at some point, everybody here will be dead. Everybody will be dead and forgotten. And so what does it matter if you love yourself in this life? Like, love yourself, expect to have a better quality of life. Know that you deserve a better life. You deserve to be happy. And you will start feeling better if you start thinking this way. If you get happy for people when they have something that you don't have, sooner or later, you're going to probably figure out skills how to get those things because you're thinking positively. And when you're positive, you're creative. It's nobody likes to be miserable. Nobody likes to be in a rut, to feel the same thing over and over again. Like that's a depression cycle. It's like a quagmire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Do you want to read some of these? What are the risks of jealousy to a person who is constantly jealous?
I think it can affect your health, your mental health.
Yeah, if they act on their jealousy towards you and they try to do hurtful things towards you, that will fuck with your head. And
I think they're asking what the risks of the jealousy to the person who is
jealous. Okay.
I think they're unhappy. They'll be unhappy.
Unhappy. Yeah.
Yeah, unhappiness. Like they're resentful because they're not happy, but they have these emotions that just keep them in that negative cycle.
They will never move. They will stay the same. They will never move up, because when they see someone who's moving up, they try to ruin it for them and bring them down. And the more they succeed in that, the more they bring people to their level, the more they feel fulfilled and satisfied. And that's what they feed off of. So you got to really finish that programming in your head. Again, if you're a really jealous person, you got to ask yourself, what is the one thing I want in life? If I get it, I will allow everyone to be whatever they want and do whatever they want and have whatever they want. And if you have that answer, let's say your goal is to find a good husband, go look for a good husband. Go find your happiness instead of ruining other people's life and bring them to your level. Instead of surrounding yourself with people with toxic partners and feeding into their resentment towards their toxic partner and not offering them any solution to get rid of their what's causing them misery,
Yeah.
Go find yourself a good partner. Or if your goal is money, go find yourself a way to make money. There are multiple ways to make money. Go start making money and start growing that money and work towards your goal instead of hanging out with people who want to stay the same, be the same, not advance in their lives. And if they dare to think that they can advance, you drag them back to your level. That's not a way of living. That's extreme sadness. That's misery for you.
You got to think too, the human brain, think of it as like a computer. You can program your brain. If somebody experiences severe trauma and they feel really unhappy for a long time, and eventually maybe they want to pull themselves out of that cycle, basically what they're doing with therapy and learning things is they're trying to retrain their brain. You can make new habits. You can break old habits. And even with children, you're basically programming a child through how you nurture them and everything that's going to determine a lot about them for the rest of their lives. And sometimes people may have even childhood traumas. A lot of people have childhood traumas. Like I would say,
I think everyone does.
yeah, I think,
Everyone does, but trauma,
Yeah.
like every trauma is different than the other. Like some people have a very bad traumas, and some people have light traumas that they can fix. You know.
yeah. Hassan says, but what if a person's circumstances or life really do not allow him to develop, be happy, or if he lost his parents who were poor or was actually unfair? That's some things.
You got a bigger challenge. You got a challenge, but you got it bigger. You know, other people got it smaller, but you got to deal with what you have. You know, deal with what you have and work with what you have. You're put in that situation by God. Work it out.
Like
Some people are more privileged in other ways and less privileged in other ways. Like, for example, even like let's say someone else who did not have a really bad trauma like you did, but they had it difficult in other aspects in life.
Yeah, and even look at us, for example. We deal with things like we have traumas in our life. My brother died when I was young. Amina's father died when Amina was Hind.
It's okay.
But and that's just one example. So there's other things in our life that we deal with, but we're still here and we're happy. I almost died about a year ago. I was in the hospital. It's not something we talk about, but I have health issues I deal with, and I stay positive. Like it's okay. First of all, it's okay to understand and be honest with you that you feel upset and you feel deprived and you feel like things were unfairly handed to you, and sometimes they were unfairly handed to you. And sometimes you can go with so much trauma that maybe it does permanently destroy you. I don't know. Like I feel like people growing up in Palestine, in Gaza, I don't know if those children can ever be normal people after having so much trauma, seeing so much death. That's a lot of therapy. That's a lot. And even those people, when they experience that kind of stuff, later on they may snap. They may be in a relationship with a spouse and they don't even realize it. Something triggers them, and all of a sudden they attack their partner. That stuff happens from childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And
I want to read Alhan Al-Sama says, Salam alaikum. شهر رمضان مبارك. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Siyam maqbool. That means may God accept your fasting for both of you.
Thank you.
For all your beloved Muslim friends, brothers and sisters, especially Muslims from our beloved country, Iraq. Thank you, Alhan. Thank you so much for your Ramadan Mubaraks. Tabrikat. All right.
You know what's the best way to really understand negative people?
Yeah.
Right now, the world is so connected. Internet trolls, people that leave negative comments online, people that we get all kinds of negative comments, but we think every single person, when they leave a negative comment, we think that's an unhappy person. We think that's somebody who deals with other people telling them that they're not good enough, that they don't deserve better, or not appreciating them. Maybe just like they don't matter at all, and that's unfortunate. But when people leave negative comments online, almost always that's a very unhappy person, probably an isolated person.
Yeah. Someone wrote to me before, if I had your nose, I would commit suicide. Like, you can imagine how much people told her that she's ugly in her life.
Yeah.
You know?
Show your nose. Go to do this. I think it's a cute nose.
You know what? And also, like, these internet trolls tell me that if, hey, Hind, I want to give you an advice. If you do some Botox and fillers in a nose job and whatever it is, you will be better. You will have more money. You will be more prosperous. That's like they link that to prosperity. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I want to be a millionaire with my nose. I want to prove everyone wrong.
Yeah, and plus I think that it's just not us. Like we're happy the way we are. We're happy having natural beauty. I mean, it would just. Hind's not a filler kind of person. Maybe when she gets older, but she takes care of herself. She has beauty regimens that she does, but it would just be out of characteristic for someone like him to go and get lip injections and.
I mean,
and
if I thought I needed it today, I would go today and do it.
yeah,
I just don't feel I need it. I'm happy with my nose. I love it. It's not bothering me. It's bothering other people, but it's not bothering me. And yeah, you can imagine how much these people are sad with themselves, and it's really sad.
yeah.
It's really sad.
Someone says, I have already lost my father and our condition is weak, but I'm still trying to struggle and know hard at university, study hard at university, and help my mother at home and spread happiness and benefits in sushi media? Does that say sushi media? Is that like in,
social media?
oh, social media? Okay, sorry, it must be auto-correcting. First of all, I'm really sorry that life has dealt you an unfair hand. It's not easy, and I totally understand that you feel I don't even know what you feel, but maybe it's something like an emptiness or a negativity. It's possible to pull yourself out of it, but also the fact sometimes you have to talk about it too. So doing things like admitting to yourself what the situation is. You're right now typing to us about what you're going through, so you're being honest about it, so you're recognizing it. Once you can't fix something if you don't know what the problem is. You have to be able to recognize the problem, diagnose it, and then you can start trying to figure out how to get around it.
Half the solution to a problem is diagnosing the problem. It's acknowledging the problem. Is finding where the problem is. And you might misdiagnose it 1,000 times before you diagnose it, the one correct diagnosis finally, and find the answers. And if you really, really, truly want to get out of your mental problems, you're going to find that answer.
Yeah, too.
Even if it takes you a long time.
And there are also things that you can do, just regular things to feel better. So, for example, being negative, you're low on endorphins, and some people have fewer endorphins than other people, but certain lifestyles can lead to higher endorphins. So, for example, exercise. If you're physically capable, going for a jog 2 or 3 times a week, doing a few push-ups, you'll feel way better on those days when you run. You'll get all those that stress out and anxiety out. Like running is so healthy, and it doesn't be running, exercise, but finding things that you're good at. And again, also make sure that you're associating yourself with people who are there for you as you get better and want you to get better. If you're with people that want you to stay the same or want you to be even worse, you've got to get those people out of your life.
Usually it's the parents, but she lost her father, or he. I don't
He?
know if that's a girl or a boy.
That's a guy.
That's a guy.
Yeah.
He lost his father. Did you lose your mom, or is she still alive? Usually your mom wants you to be better.
It looks like his mom is home because he helps with his mom around the home.
Okay, then associate with her.
My opinion, there are many people more bad than good. Low life, they are. Yeah, I think there are more bad people than good people.
Right
sure.
now, yeah, there is an imbalance in the world, and there is more bad people than good people. And the proof of that, what's happening in the world and the wars, whether it's in Ukraine or in Palestine, that's a proof of a more evil being presented in the world than good. But, do we have to give up? No. If you know yourself you're a good person, you don't give up. You just be loud. Be louder and louder than these bad people. If someone's trying to ruin your happiness for you, you gotta be tough with them. You gotta be hard on them. You gotta respond back to them. I encountered some person, a family member actually, who was really unhappy with the way I dressed and with the way I talked about my political opinions. And she came and attacked me really hard. And I didn't care in the beginning. I just blocked her. But then when I saw my mom getting really emotional over it and like being upset for me, I got to do something. And then I responded really hard and I hit her really hard. I made her really miserable with my response. And she kept babbling and babbling about it to my mom. And I told her, don't talk to my mom. But
Yeah, Hind
I blocked her.
Hind responded to this person, and that she hit her emotionally hard. I mean, I think this person had never been talked to like that before in her life. I think she was shocked, probably completely shocked to be talked to that way. But she acted so aggressive and so mean and so spiteful, and was gossiping behind Hind's back, and was just talking horribly about Hind. And you're right. Some people really got upset because they were saying that Hind doesn't dress appropriately. First of all, I don't really know what you guys mean by that, because we're in the United States and the way she dresses is modest. But maybe it's not modest for your culture, and I understand that. But, it doesn't mean, not every culture is the same. And, it's not immodest. I mean, immodest would be, there's a lot more immodest you could be than a t-shirt or no hijab. And as far as I know, I thought wearing a hijab is a choice. It's not supposed to be forced upon you. So shouldn't that also mean not trying to force it upon people through social pressure and by shunning them? And then what was the second part? Trying to think.
She got upset that I have some opinions about Palestine.
Oh yeah, and Palestine. Yeah, so I understand when you're from the Middle East, it's really very taboo to talk about politics, because in the Middle East, you can talk about politics and wind up getting arrested, tortured in a secret prison. And it's something where people are really scared to talk about politics. And again, the difference being that we're in the United States. And in the United States, politics is just about all we talk about. And so, it's just completely sort of a difference between our cultures. But yeah, that fact has rubbed off a little bit on Hind. And when it came to the stuff in Gaza, and she was so upset about it, and I told her, I said, you have a voice, say stuff. You can make some difference. You can at least be part of the people that are exposing things, that are saying things. Be honest with people. She was really, really traumatized by what was going on the whole time, but especially in the beginning of the war. And I encouraged her to do this because she has a voice, because she does have people that follow her and look at her stories, and this helps expose what's going on. But yeah, there's a lot of people from your culture that got really upset that she was defending Palestinians or saying something bad about Israel.
It's weird. It's weird when you are an Arab and you are with Israel. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. If you're Arabic, but you think Palestine should not be free, or like Israel is the right guys, and
there's so much blackmail
people.
And dirty work going on behind the scenes. So, for example, this week they were trying to release the Epstein files. Epstein, if you guys don't know, he was very likely a Mossad agent that would videotape politicians having sex with children. And he committed suicide in prison. He was murdered in prison, but then they said it was a suicide. But he's connected to very powerful people. And this week, instead of releasing the Epstein files, they just released a bunch of garble that didn't show us any more information. But my point is, Mossad, the CIA, they blackmail a lot of people. They blackmail probably Arab leaders' fucking children. Like, that's what they do. And they have so much evidence of it. And these people just don't want to get exposed, so they go along with it. And that's a huge way of pressuring people, is by having dirt on them. And that's what the CIA does. The CIA spies on people. And listen, every country has to have security. Every country needs national security. But at the same time, Mossad, they entrap powerful people by getting them to be pedophiles or other reasons. But that's a lot of what's going on. So a lot of the time you get these people that are angry, or they don't think you should talk about Israel because they're not allowed from top down to talk about Israel, but they're not allowed to talk about Israel because they've been blackmailed because they have, again, were video fucking a child or something.
Okay, then if your leader is blackmailed, should you like be cheering for your leader for doing the wrong thing?
Absolutely not. No, you should not respect these people. You should follow the laws and not get arrested and take care of yourself. But no, you should look at those people and see them for what they are, completely evil.
Yeah, that's what I was telling my relative. She was cheering for those leaders that are blackmailed to not talk shit about Israel or to not call it out when Israel is doing these things. And I was like saying to her, that's wrong. It's like wrong to cheer for him. Like, he's blackmailed. Are you blackmailed as well? I don't get it. He's in trouble. He'll be in trouble if he helps Palestine. But are you going to be in trouble as well? Maybe they intimidate them. Maybe.
I don't know. But I think that's the reason you see a lot of this stuff. And also because protection. The West keeps people in power, protects them. And because of that protection, they have to do what they're told to do. And right now they're being told to do kind of heinous things. If Israel wasn't committing genocide and Israel ended its apartheid, Israel should have good relations with
I would
its
be
neighbors.
pro-Israeli right away.
I mean,
If they ended the apartheid and give the Palestinians rights and confess to the rights of the Palestinian people, I'll be pro-Israeli. Day one.
I mean, I wouldn't be against them. I wouldn't look at them the same way. But when someone does the abhorrent things that they do, shooting toddlers in the head, shooting children in the genitals, occurring in mass, using AI to kill entire families, and then saying that they're human shields. You can't. How could anyone support that? How can anyone pretend that's not going on? How could anyone think that that country deserves to have normal relations? Thinks that that country deserves to be playing soccer with the rest of the peaceful world, the people that follow the rules, the people that don't run around committing genocide and then telling everyone that if they say anything, they're saying it because they hate Jews. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy as fuck. Anyway, babe, we're still talking about jealousy, right?
Okay.
Jealous people. We're talking about these people who will ruin your success, whatever that success is, big or small. The moment they feel threatened, the moment they feel that you are happier than them or you are advancing in your life and they're not, they will try to ruin your life by doing background work, gossiping, spreading rumors, smearing you, or some of them will confront you.
Yeah. So, yeah, you just have to be prepared for that. And when people do those things, again, sometimes you have to accept it. You have to accept it. Like, you have to accept that someone's going to smear you. I've had people smear my name before, and I can tell you exactly why. And it wasn't for things they were smearing it for. I know the person that started it, and I know why that person started it. And that person started it because they were envious. They were upset that I seemed to have something they didn't have. And so they spread rumors. And it can be really hard sometimes. Like, it can be really hurtful. It's really hurtful when people shun you. You know?
It does hurt.
And when you're a good person, and you can't do much about it. I mean, like, a lot of times, conformity. Conformity is a normal human instinct. I mean, people conform for survival, but conformity is also an easy tool of manipulation. People who are manipulative and controlling, they use conformity to keep all the people around them in line.
Like they tell you, you're not a good Arab. You're not a good Muslim.
Yeah, you're not a
You're
good
not
Muslim,
a good
yeah.
black person. You're not a good white person.
Yeah.
You're not a good whatever. You have to act exactly like us for you to be good. Even like religious leaders. I was watching a religious leader who was smearing another religious leader, saying he's not a Sunni. He's not a good Sunni. because he said so and so, because he has a different opinion. All of a sudden, he made him not a good Sunni. Stuff like that. You gotta watch out for these behaviors, for these people. And you know what? What you do, how you're dressed, or how you talk, or your opinions are your own business. It's not their business. It's not their business.
Yeah. What's that would say? There's a lot of many evil Nazi, especially the warmongers like Benjamin Netanyahu and his gang, like Galant Kafir. I don't know who Galant Kafir is, but yeah, it's
Gallant.
Okay.
His minister, one of his ministers.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think he retired.
Oh, I
Didn't
see.
he?
Government. Yeah.
Resigned. He resigned. Anyway, yeah, Netanyahu. He has Smotrich and Ben Ghafir. These are the like three evil things in Israel right now. I mean, to be honest, the whole Israeli nation is not thinking logical.
I mean, that's what reports say.
Yeah.
A lot of statistics point to a very emotionally ill
if
society.
Netanyahu and his ministers, if they don't have public support, they wouldn't get away with what they're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There is public support to what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a huge radicalization in Israel right now. And things are not going to be balanced until the war is over and people think logically of what happened and look back. Only when you look back, you realize what went wrong. Like in everything in life, even in your relationships, your friendships. Only when that thing ends, that relationship ends, and you look back, then you find out what's gone wrong. So I think we need to give it time, and the war is not over yet, believe it or not. Even though they signed a deal, Netanyahu wants only to get the hostages and go back and make flatten Gaza again and do war in Gaza. He wants like to get rid of the people. He wants to ethnically cleanse them to Egypt and Jordan and take the land of Gaza.
Yeah, I know they want the land. That's why they're
what's gonna
ethnically
happen,
cleansing it.
you know?
That's the whole point of the genocide. Did you guys see this AI video? I swear to God, it had to be Elon Musk, and I'll tell you why in a second. But this is insane. Like this was
Let's
on
see.
Trump posted this the other day.
Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1. Donald is coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1.
Yeah. So what do you got? That's pretty disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very offensive.
Yeah, and that's if you notice in that video, Elon Musk is very thin and fit. So you know Elon made these videos. Every time you see AI with Elon, where he's like healthy, he looks athletic, you know Elon made that video because he's not healthy and athletic looking.
Yeah, he uses Ozempic.
Okay.
He probably asked the AI software to make him athletic and beautiful, and he probably asked the AI also to make Trump and Netanyahu like fat and have a belly. Did you see them?
Yeah.
And that?
Yeah, there was. I don't know if you guys saw that video at least, but it's just so nuts.
Yeah.
But what else do you have to say about the this topic? Do you think you said all about it you could think of?
I think so. All I wanted to say today is like for the people who want to succeed in life or who want to find happiness, be aware. Maybe you're now in your depressive state and you want to get out of it. Once you get out of it and people see that you're thriving and you're happy with your new life, be aware. Be aware of these people. You need to cut people off of your life. You need to cut a lot of people off of your life. You will know the true friends from the fake ones. You will cut people out of your life, and that's fine. Some people will confront you. You got to be really, really, really prepared for the response that you're going to respond to these people. You got to hurt them back the same way they hurt you.
Yeah, and you guys, especially people that are on some sort of journey, you can use this show too as a cornerstone of something that you do regularly, where you come here and you talk. It's a community, so you share ideas, you share where you're at.
You can even call us.
Yeah, so if you're going through stuff and you want to get better, it's always good to be able to even be able to describe the benchmarks, to know, hey, I've achieved this, I've achieved that. And this is you need some type of consistency. So yeah, please use this show to help you.
Yeah, you can use us. We are still in the beginning. We have time. We can take your calls. We can talk to you. If you feel like you need to talk to someone, we're here for you. Brandon Habib Qalbi. Abu Al-Mim says, Brandon Habib Qalbi. He says, Brandon, my sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
Shihab says, hello, hello, hello. And Al-Saidi says, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Mubarak. Al-Han Al-Sama says, I don't agree and very angry now with the Trump. He is handing bombs to the Zionists, criminals, so-called Israel.
Yeah, and he was, the other day he had Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, and was literally pushing his chair in for him.
That's a war criminal. That's a criminal who has an arrest warrant. And if he goes to any other country other than the US and probably UK, he will be arrested.
How can people not see how manipulative he is? How do people not see the truth behind the lies?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, is it cognitive dissonance?
I don't think Trump is a stupid person. I think they paid him a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he's doing that to show them that, hey, you paid, you get what you paid for. But we'll see. We'll wait and see. It's very early to judge again. I don't want to judge now. They paid him millions and millions. So
yeah, hundreds of millions.
One AI movie that's going to give them some euphoria is not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like a politics behind it. But still, you're right. We're still arming the genocide. The United States paid for the genocide. The genocide occurred with American weapons. No question. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's talking to the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, in a way that he should talk to probably Netanyahu that way too.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw Trump yelling at Zelensky yesterday in the Oval Office.
We gave you unlimited weapons. We gave you a lot of weapons, billions of dollars of weapons. We gave you. I mean, why don't you say that to Netanyahu as well? Yeah.
They kept telling him, why don't you say thank you? When have you said thank you?
Yeah.
You know what I feel bad about Ukraine, though, is that the United States talked them into fighting the war with Russia. Russia invaded. Ukraine was ready to negotiate. And the United States came along and said, no, we'll give you the weapons. We'll help you fight the war. And then what the United States did is they gave them lots of weapons, just enough to keep going, and they made a lot of money, and that's what it was. It was just literally people made a bunch of money, making new weapons, replacing weapon supplies. That's all it was just wealth transfer. They completely exploited the situation in Ukraine for weapons manufacturers to make money.
Yeah, I think someone gave Biden money, some owners of these weapon manufacturing companies, because that's how things work here in the U.S. Unfortunately, like big pharma pays money to get more money. Big weapon pays money to get more money. Big oil and gas pays money to the politicians to get more money. to get more profit, to
Yeah.
generate profit.
But now, I mean, Ukraine is almost completely destroyed. Maybe close to 1 million people have been killed, just on the Ukrainian side. On the Russian side, close to 1 million people have been killed. Also, it's they've. I don't even. They're in the situation now. Like, what do they do? And I can imagine the Ukrainian president is probably pretty worn out from this kind of stuff and dealing with politics, and it.
He looks tired and haggard, and
Yeah.
he was dressed in black. They say he wore that to respect his people or the dead people of his country. He did not come in a suit, which Trump humiliated him for. But yeah, but I agree that he was talking in a way that he wants more of the U.S. government when the U.S. government is depleted already and doesn't have the ability to give more. And he should be right now to think reasonable and probably give up a little bit, because he has to give up some land, and the Ukrainians are not willing to give up these lands. It's a new Palestine-Israel situation created on Ukrainian lands right now.
Situation is kind of different though, but yeah,
It's an occupation.
So Russia can't really take more land, and Ukraine can't take the land back. So it's just been, they've had these quagmire lines where it's just like World War I, where they're fighting back and forth over small segments of territory, and it's just people in trenches and being blown up in mass. And it's I don't know if you guys watch videos from the war in Ukraine, but there's a lot, and there's a lot of crazy stuff you can see. I mean, people being eaten by pigs, and you can find people being killed in every way you can imagine.
Oh, you know what Mishari bin Fahd says?
What's that?
Says your husband is a really respectful person and educated, and say hi to him, and may God bless him.
Thank you.
That's Mishari. All right.
Also, guys, we do have the I forgot to mention because it didn't work last week. We have the WhatsApp. If you want to call into the show, you can call in on WhatsApp. If you call, you got to call from WhatsApp, or else it won't play. Go to the computer. But the phone number is
614
332.
2811.
Yeah, 614-332-2811.
And if you're from outside the United States, you got to put +1. So it's going to be +1 614-332-2811. There is a suggestion from Abul Mim, and I will take your suggestion and apply it for the next episodes. He suggested that we write the subject of the episode in the description so that he knows what we're talking about.
Okay.
Instead of coming to the live and guessing what we're talking about and spending like 10 minutes trying to figure out what the subject is. That's a good idea. We do that in the announcements on Instagram, but we need to do that on the description on YouTube too.
Well, when we promote the show, we put it on the promotion. So if you look back at the last reel on Hind Deer and Hind Deer Podcast, it would show that. But that's a great idea. We're learning as we go, and that's a great suggestion. Thank you very much. And then also, guys, we did some more stand-up last night.
Oh, actually, Manal al-Shahrani. So I don't know why her name is Mishari bin Fahd. Maybe that's some relatives' phone she's talking from, but she's like Manal al-Shahrani. Oh, I think she's talking about someone. I think Mishari is talking. I'm confused. Mishari, that person is talking about Manal al-Shahrani. I don't know who Manal al-Shahrani is, but I assume it's someone on the social media. She married a U.S. citizen a year ago, and she's happy with him.
Good.
And Mishari said to you, we're proud of you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate those kind words.
American men are really good. American men will treat women like they're a fragile snowflake. They'll do everything for you, fawning over you constantly. American men are basically Arab women. So I found my other half. That was a line of my stand-up show.
Oh, okay, so we did some stand-up last night, and the funny part is the whole set. We were trying to open with, Hind goes on stage and says, "Give it up for the host," and does the la 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 la. And the intent in the beginning was that nobody would do that, and it would be kind of really awkward, and she would stop and be like, "Oh, that's not a thing here." So, but and we're trying to practice these routines. So we haven't done this exact routine for a while, but last night we decided to do it again because it's been several months, but people have caught on. So now the joke has to be changed because now people actually start doing the la 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 la.
It became a thing there.
Yeah. So let me see here.
All right. Your next comedian is new on the scene, but very, very funny already. Put your hands together for Hind Deer.
Yeah.
Give it up for the host.
And everyone's doing it now.
That's not a thing here. Even the black people look uncomfortable. A little too ethnic. Well, my husband told me I can make black jokes because I'm brown and he's white, so I believe him. You guys ever rejected your first cousin's marriage proposal? No? Then he spends the rest of his life hating you, driving family against you, always paranoid that you'll be a positive influence on his poor soul that married his narcissistic ass. That's their problems. So I came to this country 10 years ago, and I chose the traditional route. And by traditional route, I mean I got a terrorist visa. Oops, did I say terrorist? English is not my first language, forgive me. I got here on a tourist visa, never left, overstayed my visa, ate some cats and dogs with some Haitian spices. I'm kidding with that one. And then before they deport me, I married an American. Nothing brings out true love quite like deportation court. Thank you, deportation court. I love you. You guys know what a passport bro is?
Yeah.
Yeah? I bet your husband is one of them. That's where some guy gets his together, ready to get married, and he doesn't want a wife who will all his friends, so he gets a passport and goes to find love abroad. You can actually tell a lot about a guy by where he finds love. If he's a devout Christian, the Philippines. Someone wants some spice, Latin America. If he's interested in a lot of kids, back to the Philippines. Not to raise or adopt. Come on, Philippines, get your together. Yeah. Are you Filipino?
Yes.
Yes.
So that was in case you guys don't know, that was a joke about sex trafficking. So a lot of people in the West, dirty people, dirty men, immoral men will go to places like the Philippines to have sex with children.
Yeah.
It's gross, sick. But anyways, that was so now people are doing that. So
Mishari is asking كيف تحملتي اللي ضحكتها صوتها مزعج ما ضربتيها بالكعب. He's talking about Maria. He's like, how did you tolerate that girl who was laughing really hard? Why didn't you hit her with the slippers? She's my friend.
Yeah.
She was with us. She was there to support us, and she was kind of drunk. So she had a good time. She was laughing at all the jokes for all the comedians over there. and I'm glad she had a good time. I mean, she gave me some laughs. It looked like, like my jokes were funny. I don't mind it. Every comedian wants that.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna keep practicing those, keep writing more jokes, and sooner or later we're gonna have a full comedy show, and I think it'll be funny. What else do we got? You got recent projects we did. I wanted to make these new characters where we're two detectives, and we started working on it a little bit, but then I got sick, so we didn't really finish. So I just made a short clip with Hind being a detective.
Sergeant Al Kowalski.
Yeah, Sergeant Al Kowalski. So
there you go.
My name is Sergeant Jacob Al Kowalski. I've been on the force for 15 years. Hey, pal, move it along. Not in Trump's America. They'll be homeless in Mexico.
So it's not really particularly that funny, but that part was actually is a build up for the coming joke in the next reel that has to do with it. And I don't know, we're still trying to develop these characters, but she's Sergeant Al Kowalski, and I'm going to be Detective Osama, but apostrophe Sama, so it's Irish.
You'll see it on Instagram. If you're following us on Instagram, you'll see these videos. Abul Mim wants to invite Brandon on Maqluba. I never cooked Maqluba for you. I should.
Okay.
Maqluba. He wants to invite you for Maqluba. And meat Maqluba.
Sounds good.
And with vegetables. And with some kefir. Kefir?
It's like meat type thing?
No.
The yogurt
drink.
Okay. Or the sour cream.
And he wants you to sleep afterwards. And then MB is saying, put your stand-up comedy shows on your channel. I'm working on that project. I'm going to make a whole routine of stand-up comedy and put it on YouTube for you guys to be able to purchase.
We'll probably put that one up, but also the thing too is because we're trying to build a set, so if
coming.
Yeah, if everyone already hears the jokes and knows this stuff, they won't be that funny when it comes out. But that one we'll probably put up. It's just good editing, and we're trying also to build an American audience, so we can have people that follow us and interact with us from the Middle East and the United States.
Mm-hmm. Both Mishari and Abul Mim laughed. I think they laughed on my response to the Maqluba. I don't know.
Okay.
Hint, you're wrong on this. The cousins marriage it's not Arab thing. It's not a problem. It's normal. It's halal.
Yeah, we're not. So here's.
No, Arab problems is that when you reject your first cousin and he spends all his life ruining your reputation because you rejected him. That's the problem you deal with when you are an Arab. I'm not saying marrying a cousin is a problem.
Yeah, and the thing about it, see, in the United States, it's taboo. In fact, it's not even legal in almost every state except for New York. And so when Americans hear it, it's something they can't relate to. So when you say this is something that an Arab might be dealing with, it just shows a contrast of the two cultures. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, we're not actually. I mean, there's plenty of people in Hind's family that, have that life, and we would never insult them or make
We're
fun
not
of them.
saying it's haram. We're not saying
Yeah.
it's a problem. It's just a misunderstanding. You misunderstood what I said. I was talking about when you reject your first cousin and things go in the wrong direction, that's a problem you deal with when you're an Arab. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's some of the jokes too. Is I mean, when you're from another country and you're building a life for yourself, the world is different, and so you have different experiences throughout life. And so when you're especially talking to an American audience, you talk about those things and how they're different. Even with the bidets, for example, there's jokes about cleaning yourself with water when you go to the bathroom. Americans don't know how to do that. So there's a lot of jokes in there.
Mm-hmm.
What comment are you reading?
Abul Mim and Meshari, they're talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
Abul Mim said, the video that I changed my setup and I brought a computer table, that video made him follow me. I don't remember that video, to be honest. It could be a very old video. And Mishari said, Hind is the first person who introduced Comedia in social media. We know her a long time ago. I was in middle school when I knew her. And then Abul Mim said, after the last live stream, I went to your channel and I saw videos of your father. And I think he was a really good person. And he reminded him of his father. We're sorry that you lost your father, Abul Mim.
Yeah. This comment says, I got you. Do you know white people in the big panel Australia married each other and we don't know, but...
you can read it out loud, babe.
Yeah. Australia married each other and we don't know even the prisoner there from British married their sisters. We don't know. Yes. So here's the thing with white people. We call it inbreeding. We had that issue in the United States too. A lot of Appalachia. Here's the problem with white people. We don't have very good genetic diversity. You see people with red hair. Red hair is a result of inbreeding. Irish people over the years are very inbred. They have red hair. That's just a genetic defect. So white people become retarded. Really, I don't know if retarded is the right word, but white people very quickly will start to have genetic problems if they're marrying their first cousins or siblings. That's why it's taboo in our culture. If it didn't affect people negatively, there would be no reason to not make it taboo or illegal. There were people in Kentucky, that's in Appalachia, that were blue, like their skin, like they were blue like Smurfs. You should look it up. Look up the blue people from Kentucky. It's crazy, but this is like a small family that moves from Ireland or Scotland and lives in the mountains, and they just keep marrying children and cousins and everything, and all of a sudden they have these birth defects. Mm-hmm. And I mean, a lot of British royalty, they had like sickle cell anemia or some type of like blood disorders.
But don't you think, babe, that we have technology that we can detect these problems before marriage? Like if I was to marry my cousin, I would do a blood work that would tell me what genetic problems or defects or whatever mutations I have and what my cousin's genetics mutations he has.
I mean, I'm sure that
we can avoid marrying each other if we have the same genetic defects, you know?
I guess if that technology exists, and I'm sure it does, but not everyone has that. Not everyone has the ability to do that. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you're a white person, rule of thumb, don't have children with your siblings. We just don't have the genetic diversity.
You mean cousins?
Well, cousins too.
They're siblings to you. For me, I'm not a big fan of marrying a cousin, but I'm not judging my family members for doing that, But I myself would not be comfortable doing it. I think they are siblings to me.
Yeah, very close.
I think if I marry one of my cousins, that would create some problems. Like, what if we don't get along? that will create a problem between my family and the cousin's family.
I say this to people who are against cousin marriage. Because of this false message or jokes about the inbreeding, no people are...
That's all made up.
So it's not all
It's all made up. It's not really true. I know people, our cousins, married. I know
Yeah.
people who are married who are cousins, and they have a really healthy child. So it's not necessarily true for every family, but for some families it can be true. Especially, so you live in the Middle East. We have specific genetic defects that are really different from white people's genetic defects. The world is huge, and you come here, you see a whole set of new diseases that you'd never seen in the Middle East, and the opposite is true. Like G6PD, the fava beans allergy, we call it a tafawul. We have it in the Middle East. It's very common. They don't have it here. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, and we said there are married cousins, and they have very normal, smart kids too. Yeah, there is that. What we're talking about in the United States. The reason it's not legal in the United States is white people, specifically, genetically, we don't have a lot of genetic diversity. We get genetic disorders. You can look it up. Look up Appalachia, or look at just say inbreeding, or in Australia, or the results of inbreeding in Kentucky.
It's different with white people.
Yeah.
They have different genetic defects than Middle Eastern people. It might work for most of the families in the Middle East, inbreeding or like cousin marriage, but it doesn't work here. It's very different here.
And I don't think even the results would lead to lower intelligence. I think the problems would be things like genetic things, like disease prevention, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will tell you that I've seen studies that say that people, if you have two people from not related, but two different even racial groups or ethnicities, and they have children, a lot of times those children are much healthier because they have so much new genetic diversity being brought together. Because humans, that's what we are. We share DNA, and we look differently because our DNA groups have gone into different areas, and we started sharing traits. But yeah, I mean, it's if the world were about to end and there were just a couple people left alive, especially in America, they wouldn't survive very many generations. They would. You could look this stuff up. It's a lot of the information's out there, and I could be wrong, but we do have very evidence-based understanding of the bad sides of inbreeding for specifically white people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might work for us, but not for them. You know. I'm not against it. I'm okay if I don't know, if my cousins marry each other, I'm happy for them. I already have cousins that are married to each other.
It's none of my business who people marry.
Yeah,
it's none of my business.
It's none of my business.
If you're happy, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, of course. If you're happy, I'm happy for you.
It's just
exactly
with that stuff here. It's a joke because that's how Americans look at it. So it's just a cultural difference that it's kind of amusing to people that don't understand it. I don't know. What's something that you guys would think is weird besides the bidet stuff about Americans?
Bidet.
Or something that's not normal to you that's normal here.
Wiping your ass.
Okay, well, back to bidets.
Let me remember. Cultural shocks.
You know what? When you guys sit on a couch and you fold your legs, it's rude in your culture for the bottom of your foot to be pointing towards a person.
Yeah.
That's not a thing in America.
Yeah.
Not a thing at all. Like nobody has.
It's inappropriate. It's aib. We call it aib.
Yeah. So
it's very inappropriate to point your bottom of your foot at someone sitting in front of you by putting a foot over your leg.
So if you made a joke that referenced that, if you did that in front of Americans, they probably would have no idea what you're talking about. If you did it in front of some Arabs, they would know exactly what you're talking about, and then it could be funny because it's just a reference to something unusual. But, Or the joke could be like, I had an American friend and I invited him over to my house and he offended everyone by sitting down and talking to them, but because his feet were pointed towards them. The first time I went to Hind's mom's house, I sat this way. I didn't know it was rude, and they had to let me in on Arab etiquette.
We explained it to him. Should not be anyone's business. You're right. We agree with you. Mishari says Trump opened his project in Gaza, in Jeddah. It's a big project. It's a resort and hotels. Good for him. I mean, you guys let him do that.
I'm totally fine with people doing this stuff. I don't think the genocide. I don't think apartheid is good. We're against genocide.
He's talking about Jeddah, not Gaza.
Oh, Jeddah. Where's Jeddah?
Jeddah is in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He opened a big hotel and resort in Jeddah. A big, huge project.
Okay.
Good for him. I mean,
I would love to visit Saudi Arabia.
If that brings a lot of jobs to Saudis, why not? You know, and he fills his pockets with it too. You guys let him do that. We called it chilak.
Oh, is that the foot thing?
Yeah, the foot thing. Yeah.
Chilak. Okay.
Chilak. In
So,
Iraqi.
If we're ever doing jokes and we know we'll be performing for a bunch of Arabs, we should have even a joke about that they would get, or it would be funny if they
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Chilak.
Chilak.
So is it just an Iraqi word?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Iraqi. In Egyptian, they say shalut. Shalut.
Okay.
But I don't know what other people say.
Okay.
Other dialects. Anyway. Abul Mim is saying, I live in Germany, and here there are laws. One of these laws, in 5 years, you can do whatever you want. ينمسح. Oh, okay. In 5 years, it will be deleted off your record if you do something.
Okay.
Is it the same in America?
Depends on. No, it's not the same in America. And America is different than most countries because America is 50 states, and the states do a lot of things. So most jurisdictions. So if you have federal law and you have state laws, most the time when people are charged with a crime, we're talking about crimes?
Yeah.
Okay, it's through the state. So that specific state will have rules about if you can have things taken off. It's taken off your record. It doesn't fall off your record. Your stuff on your driving record falls off, but not actual crimes. And depending on the crime in the state, will determine whether or not you can have that removed or expunged. If you to be charged with a federal crime, you've got to break federal law. But those are it's probably more severe. Like it's kind of hard to break federal law by the average person, unless you're maybe doing something illegal and going across state lines. Then you can be charged with some type of federal law. But it's all based on states. So Texas has Texas laws. Oklahoma has Oklahoma laws. Ohio has Ohio
Depends
laws.
on the state. It's a big country.
Mm-hmm.
America is like the Arab world. Big country. We should be a one unified country called the Arab world if we know how to think like America.
United States of
Maybe
Arabia?
One day. United States of Arabia, yeah. USA. It's going to be two big countries, two huge countries in the world. USA and USA. The middle USA and the West USA.
I mean, I definitely want a bright future for the Middle East.
Yeah.
I hope it does just keep getting better. There's been too many wars.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm getting sleepy here. I'm
Okay.
so tired and fasting.
You're right, fasting. Let's do a couple.
You want to wrap up, babe?
Yeah, let's do a couple rules real fast. We gotta do the real pick.
All right.
Hind Deer's weekly real picks. So dope, super duper diggity double dog dope dirt. Oh, mom, bruh.
Okay.
Oh, I can talk to God. That's what I tell everyone. Because I can. Because I do.
No, we're not a cult. We're a for-profit family. One that God loves more than all the other families.
Our family's just like any other family, except our dad can talk to God.
You are weak! You are a scared little boy, and everyone can see right through you!
Yes, it's me. This is not a cult. Who said we're a cult? What makes you think this is a cult? This is a religion. There's a few differences.
So that was the first one, and then let me show the second one that goes with this.
You ask God if my kids are all right?
God is saying that this isn't. It needs more. Yeah. Okay. Good,
Yes,
good.
God.
They're dead. So let's talk about why we're here.
Horrible. I don't know. This is, in the United States, like religion is a big business, and there's people that they are on television and they just tell you to send them money, and people will get extremely wealthy just getting old, lonely people to send them the little bit of money they have, and they tell them that it's going to get them to heaven and all these things, and it's people really exploit people with religion, especially in the United States. I'm not saying religion is exploitative. Exploitative people often use religion to exploit. And this is just, most cults are a good example of that.
Want to read some comments?
Yeah.
So before we read that one, this one says, this person has Abul Mim. He has a friend who came to America, got a white card, and left. And if
Green
you
card?
White card.
Okay.
That's when you apply for asylum and they approve your asylum. They give you a white card until you wait for a year, and then you can apply for a green card. So he left after he got his white card. I don't know why he left after having this opportunity. I don't think he should have left. It would be definitely really like almost impossible for him to come back, but he can ask a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just, from my experience, which is not a lawyer experience, I can see how difficult it is for him to come back. America doesn't like people who fucks with it, like who like use America or use loopholes or like just want to get something out of America and not give back. American government doesn't like that type of people. So it would be like a really hard situation, but you can, like, your friend can talk to a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying what I know. I could be wrong. Al-Han Sama says, Trump's problem is his Zionist son-in-law.
Jared Kushner?
Probably.
Okay.
Whom his
Yeah.
Hibla daughter
Ivanka
or Yasir, her name is now, what? Yair, her name is now. She brought a Jew to her family, and Trump, listens to them. Trump has an Arabic son-in-law as well, if you don't know. He has a Lebanese son-in-law, and he has a Jewish son-in-law. So both of them must have talked to them about their struggles. And at the end of the day, Trump will do what's good for America.
We hope.
We hope. We hope he doesn't do what serves other people and not his people. We hope, though. We hope that. So
Yeah.
he has both. He has an Arabic son-in-law and a Jewish son-in-law.
It also doesn't. You keep in mind too.
It's not about who his family is. It's about who gives him money.
Yeah, that's the thing. That like the Sheldon Adelson. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's his widow. Gave Trump $100 million. That's probably more influential than Jared Kushner being Jewish, because being Jewish is not the same thing necessarily as wanting him to impose ethnic cleansing on genocide. I mean, there's a lot of Jewish people in the United States. Jewish people make the United States. The United States is way cooler and way more fun because of all the Jewish people we have here. Like, Jewish people are. There's a lot of great Jewish people. It's Jewish people and Israel are two separate things. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. All right, I'm really thinking of food.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up because it's Ramadan, and
Yeah.
Ramadan means fasting, and fasting means fun.
It's so much fun, especially the first day of Ramadan.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you guys had fun. We'll think of something to talk about next week, and if you guys have any ideas, shoot us a message. Other than that,
you got our WhatsApp number. It's free. You can text us if you have any ideas. You can call us during the show. We're here Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 11 p.m.
Saudi time.
Saudi and Iraqi time.
Yeah.
See you next episode. You have a good day. Have a blessed Ramadan. Iftar Mubarak. And Ramadan
Ma salama.
Mubarak. Ma salama.